Imagine a neighborhood so obsessively beige it could induce madness. Here, one man's simple dream of fresh eggs turns into a full-blown war against HOA tyranny. He's told no chickens, so he hunts down guard birds, 6-foot-tall emus, and brings them home. Chaos ensues, roaring inspections, police visits, a contractor's hazard fees, viral videos, and a showdown at the clubhouse. Will our heroes' feathered sentinels win their right to roam? Buckle up for suburban rebellion taken to prehistoric extremes, so if you like stories like this, like and subscribe for more. I moved to the manors at Quail Creek expecting quiet. What I found was oppressive perfection. Identical gray-tan houses, matching obelisks for mailboxes, and lawns surgically trimmed to 3 inches. My wife Chloe and I had left our noisy city loft for safety, good schools, and a postage stamp backyard. My new remote work life meant I shuffled 10 steps from bed to desk, then stared out at a cul-de-sac that felt like a corporate PowerPoint. Sterile, uniform, lifeless. I need a project, I announced one morning over coffee, watching Bob next door align his plastic flamingos with a level. Chloe looked up, dread in her eyes. Not a podcast. No, I said. Something real. Chickens. I painted a bucolic scene. Me in a straw hat, gathering warm eggs. Chloe sighed, but she smiled. Read the HOA handbook first. I'd used that 3-inch thick binder to steady a wobbly table leg. How bad could it be? I drafted a polite email to the Architectural Review Committee. A small artisan poultry enclosure, sustainable, educational, hyper-local. 24 hours later, I found a cream-colored envelope in our mailbox from HOA President Brenda Wexler. Thank you for your inquiry regarding your proposed agricultural endeavor, she wrote, before pointing me to Article 4, Section 8C. No livestock or poultry of any kind. She even highlighted no poultry in yellow. My dream of 3 hens, Mariel, Cluck, and Yulo Ono, was dead. Fuming on the sofa, I swore this was about principle. That night, I resurrected the handbook and dug into Article 5, pets and other animals seen for security purposes. Poultry was banned by definition, but what about ratites, emus, ostriches, classified separately? A late-night scramble. Through agricultural statutes revealed the loophole, emus weren't poultry. I envisioned giant flightless guardians patrolling my yard. Chloe stirred at 2 a.m. "What are you doing?" she murmured. "Home security." Finding someone who sold emus meant a descent into internet weirdness. Sovereign citizen forums, blinking 1998 websites. I unearthed Gus's fine, foul, and sundries. No prices, just a cryptic phone number. I called, voice unsteady. "Guardbirds," I said. He laughed. 2 3-month-olds for a grand cash, bring your own crate. His parting advice, keep them fenced, don't turn your back. They can disembowel coyotes in one kick. That Saturday, I loaded a giant dog crate into our SUV. Chloe watched in resigned horror. "It's sound home security," I told her. She just shook her head, imagining Brenda's meltdown. The rural drive turned into a dusty trail. Gus's farm was a haphazard zoo. Angry geese, aloof llamas, and alpaca trying to eat his hat. He wrestled 2 shaggy brown juveniles into the crate. They looked like walking feather dusters. I paid the cash, he nodded, and I felt like I'd made a deal in some underground bazaar. On the ride home, Zeus and Hera, my new guardbirds, expressed their displeasure. Zeus popped the crate latch and pecked at the headliner. Hera produced a stench that would haunt me forever. I drove, with windows down, feathers floating in the air until I reached Quail Creek. Chloe met me at the door. "What have you done?" she asked, equal parts horror and awe. Over the next days, I discovered emus eat anything shiny, keys, rings, cupcakes, and adore dust baths. They grew fast. Knee-high fuzz became waist-high awkward teenagers. I drafted my magnum opus, a letter to the HOA invoking Article 5, Section 2, formally notifying them I'd acquired 2 Dromaeus novahollandii ratites, not poultry, for security. I walked it to the community mailbox, chest puffed with pride. 72 hours later, I saw the white HOA golf cart crest our cul-de-sac. Brenda Wexler, visor low, patrolled with grim determination. I ducked behind curtains as she scanned every lawn. Then she froze when she spotted Zeus and Hera towering in my yard. Mouth agape, she sat in her cart for 30 seconds, statue still, while Zeus drummed his throat and puffed out his chest in full guardbird display. Brenda stormed my porch. "What are those?" she hissed. "Guardbirds," I said cheerfully. "Not poultry, ratites of a different genus." Her face contorted. "They're giant, weird birds and they don't belong here." "They're my security system," I said. "Are you saying you want me unsecured?" She sputtered. "About the spirit of the law." "The spirit of the law doesn't pay HOA dues," I smiled. She retreated, furious. Predictably, Brenda tried city ordinances next. 2 days later, I met Officers Miller and Davis, bored but curious about my aggressive, unidentified creatures. I introduced Zeus and Hera properly, officers on patrol requiring glass of water, then handed them my letter and the statute printouts. Zeus politely pecked Miller's uniform button. They decided it was a civil matter, left laughing. Victory number 2. Next came S, the contractor we'd hired for a stone patio. He arrived, toolbox in hand, and stopped dead at the sight of my emus. Day 1. Zeus yanked up survey stakes. Hera glared at the crew until they broke. Lunch. Marco's sandwich vanished. Day 3. Zeus kicked a bag of cement mix in delight. Both birds dust-bathed, turning ghost gray. S shook his head covered in cement, then handed me the invoice with a dinosaur hazard fee worth-it note. Soon the emus were local celebrities. Neighbors slowed their cars, grade schoolers filmed Zeus chasing the mail truck. TikTok exploded. Guard chickens are terrifying. Hashtags Quail Creek Guardians. My biggest ally was Old Man Fitzwilliam, a retired history prof who saw my stand as a brilliant guerrilla tactic. He saluted me across the street like Scipio Africanus. But Brenda struck back with an emergency HOA meeting and a proposed amendment to ban any bird over 24 inches tall. That week, I transformed my office into command headquarters, binders, statutes, affidavits from S and social media praise, and drilled with Fitz. She'll call them a nuisance. You reply. Visual deterrent, community engagement, I pledged. Meeting night arrived. The clubhouse, usually for potlucks, was packed. Brenda's team on one side, rulers, curtain twitchers, my supporters on the other, young families, outraged junkies, and Fitz himself. Brenda presented the Ratit Risk PowerPoint. Red-eyed photos, bullet points on defecation and defiance, property value doom. Then I stood, heart pounding. I spoke not of Latin names, but of dreams crushed by a rule book, of a man who wanted chickens and ended up with prehistoric guardians. I asked, is there no room for character, for joy? Laughter and murmurs spread. I read praise from TikTok fans and S's affidavit. Brenda, enraged, pounded her gavel. Rules matter, she shouted, but so do unintended consequences, I countered. This isn't about poultry, it's about punishing creativity. As tension peaked, a soft commotion rose at the back door. A long gray neck slipped through. Zeus and Hera had wandered in, drawn by lights and speech. Zeus boomed his drumming call. Half the room screamed, the other half roared with laughter. Brenda's authority evaporated. Old Man Fitz leapt onto his chair. All in favor of banning joy and giant birds, say aye. Silence. Opposed? A thunderous "No!" rang out. The amendment died, and with it Brenda's reign. In the aftermath, Quail Creek changed. Brenda still patrols, but more wearily. Neighbors now wave as they pass my yard. The mailman tosses treats to Zeus and Hera. S finished the patio and on his last day bribed the emus with grapes. Fitz repainted his gnome's hat emu brown. Chloe launched an Instagram for the birds. Our cul-de-sac became a legitimately interesting place to live. One cool evening, months later, Hera surprised us by laying a single perfect avocado green egg, the prize of our suburban rebellion. Holding that egg, Chloe and I sat on our new stone patio, emus surveying their kingdom, and realized we'd turned conformity on its head. I looked at Chloe and Zeus and said, grinning, "After all that, I could really go for an omelet." If you'd like more stories like these, please like and subscribe.